Yeah, it's not the coolest intro that we're used to, but we back. Week 1, tomorrow night. Jake's with us. Elijah, once again, sitting in the background. Guys, ready for another year of... I don't know what we're looking forward to, because last week was already crazy as it is with already a top 10 upset. And we haven't even played 1 week. Officially.
True.
1 week. All right. So, who's ready to make some picks? Jake, you are once again the returning champion. But before we get to the picks, we need to take a look at how we did last week. Literally, you're looking at it. We had the same exact picks last week. Florida State, Montana State, SMU, Hawaii, Tarleton State, SMU, Florida A&M, all were the same picks. All were the same exact result. Florida State being the only team with the shocker of not beating Georgia Tech. Now, it's weird to say that, especially when, Georgia Tech did kind of beat Miami last year after Miami made the stupid ass mistake to not kneel down the football. But I didn't think Georgia Tech actually had an upset in them.
Which is actually kind of ironic that you say that, Trev, because if I remember hearing right, Georgia Tech actually has beaten Florida State 3 out of the last 4 times or 2 out of the last 3 times they played, excluding last week. So now it's like 4 out of the last 5 or 3 out of the last 4. So,
yeah.
Granted, they haven't played in a while, but still, though, like I say, yeah, I'll just kind of see if that's just an outlier for Florida State or if that's actually cause for concern.
Yeah. So really quick before we also get a little bit too far into here. So notice how the records are going to have something different, some of whatever different look to them. We're going to keep our normal record that we get throughout the entire year. However, we're also going to keep track of our lock wins. Those will get added up after conference championships. So locks that are worth 2 do not count during bowl eligibility because there's already enough bowl games as it is, and you could be 10 games down, but you're still in it. So there's no real point of keeping it like that. So the lock wins are regular season to conference title only. Well, actually, I could technically say Army-Navy as well, but we all know where Army-Navy game lies, which is in a really odd location. And that is literally after conference championships, and it's a conference game this year. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into week 1, officially kicking off the college football season. Western Carolina travels to NC State. We don't have a spread for this game because it is FCS versus FBS. I think we all know where we're going with most of these picks, especially if it's FCS versus FBS, except for maybe one of them. Jake, I'll let you go first in that aspect.
I mean, I really don't think there's much to say. Granted, like I say, in the FCS world, as an FCS football fan myself, I really don't know much about Western Carolina per se, but yeah, it should be NC State here. Give me NC State here. And again, that's no shade on Western Carolina. It's just like, I always say this too. Oh, and apparently Elijah just came out with the spread here. Lines are NCSU minus 32.5. So yeah, give me North Carolina State.
We're not going to make that a lock. That one's going to be a little too easy of a lock. The only reason we took the layup last year because it was there, but we're going to try and make it a little bit more of a challenge.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot more fun to actually lock a game that might be like a 10-point victory versus a 40-point victory because that's just too easy.
So how about this for a rule? unless there isn't really any close games, that's a lock. The lock has to be a 5. The lock has to be at
Let's make
a 5-point. A 5
actually.
point.
I'm kind of thinking maybe like a 2 touchdown or below, like 14
2
or below.
touchdown or below. So 13 and a half or below.
Yeah.
Okay, so 13 and a half or below, you can make the lock unless there isn't any games that are on our schedule, then you can go for the easy layup. All right. So, moving up, why the fuck are we debating rules right now? Because we fucking can. And because it's called doing on the fly. But right now, we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about potential upset of the week. North Dakota State, who knows how to go into an FBS stadium and kick the ever-living crap out of the team, are going to go to Boulder, Colorado to take on the Bison. Or the Buffalo. Wow. The Colorado Buffaloes. Jake, I'm going to let you take this one because I'm still debating this one.
Well, the line is Colorado at -10.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be one of the most, I wouldn't say hard like decisions, but it's just there's no way that in a perfect world or Colorado should very easily win this. But it is NDSU, which if you know anything about NDSU in the FCS world, they're basically Alabama or Georgia of the FCS world. I mean, they are the top dogs pretty much year in and year out. With the exception of the last few seasons, SDSU took over that crown. But do I?
You're debating it too. You're debating it too. Trust me. I'm
You know what?
highly doing it too.
Ooh, can we kind of scroll down? I'm just curious to see what the other games are before we actually call them
Yeah,
here.
let me slowly do that for you.
Because I'm debating here. You know what? Screw it. NDSU upset.
Ooh, he's doing it, folks. He's going the Bison of North Dakota State as his upset of the week. Folks, am I hearing an echo here? Oh, am I hearing an echo? Because guess what? I'm pulling it off too. North Dakota State has gone in not only to Iowa State, they have also gone into Kinnick Stadium and have beaten the brakes off of Iowa and Iowa State. That is where they've got the name. I think you can technically call them the Titan Killers. Is that the correct word to call them here? I'd say Titan Killers. He's going Colorado. He's 100% on the hype train. He's 100% on that hype train. This one we should all be in agreement on. It is the Lindenwood Lions traveling to, it will not be Lawrence, Kansas. They're actually going to be traveling to Sporting Kansas City's soccer stadium to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, I think we could easily just call this one a layup.
Yeah.
I'm picking Kansas State on this.
I'm picking Kansas.
I know how good Lindenwood is when it comes to ACHA hockey, but other than that, I don't know how good they are at football. Alrighty, next up, I'm assuming this is Southern Utah versus Utah. Again, FCS versus FBS. And you're talking a top 10 team in the FBS. I'm going to just gun through this one. I'm going to pick the Utes in this one.
Same. especially because the line's at minus 38.5.
Minus 38.5. Jesus Christ. Breaks, it was a field. Yeah, well, here's the other difference. It doesn't matter. It's an FCS opponent beating an FBS opponent. So it doesn't matter how badly you lost. You are losing to a team you should have easily beaten. Trust me, I am also speaking for that under Iowa State's fandom. We should have beaten North Dakota State. However, our offense kind of faded after the first half, and we only scored 14 points all goddamn game long. But
And as a guy who's seen his fair share of NDSU, there's a reason why they're considered Alabama of FCS. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I've seen many a times. Well, let's put it this way: I've literally seen my team beat Carson Wentz in Fargo. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving on down, we've got the Temple Owls traveling to Norman in what will be Oklahoma's first game as a member of the SEC. Now, just because you have the title as part of one of college football's greatest conferences, yes, I am saying that because the SEC knows how to win national championships. I think Oklahoma's going to have a rough year, especially with it being a transition year from conference to conference. However, they're not going to have a rough year, a rough going against the Owls of Temple. Give me the Boomer Sooners.
Yep, Oklahoma. I don't think we have to really go into that. Nothing against Temple or anything, but it's Oklahoma.
Yeah. This game should 100% have been a 2:30 start, but it's not. It's actually one of the noon kickoffs. Clemson, ranked Clemson, travels to number 1 ranked Georgia in a noon kickoff time. My question is, what is the line? That is actually
13.5. 13.5 Georgia. And for that, if you don't mind me stepping in here,
go ahead.
I'm going to make this my lock. Georgia in the lock.
Georgia in the lock.
Reason being, Georgia, still missed out on the national championship, like the playoffs last year due to Alabama. They're going to come out hungry and ready to go. Georgia, in my opinion, is probably the best team in the FBS at this point, at least on paper, even if they have had a lot of, off the field issues with like racing or this or that or the other thing. You can look that up on your own time, but Georgia is still a very, very good team. And they're still probably one of the favorites to win. So give me Georgia 100%. In the lock.
I'm going to agree with Georgia, but they're not going to be my lock. I've got another game I've got my lock on, and it's going to surprise, might shock both of you. It's not Iowa State, in case you're wondering. But
and also Elijah has this as his lock as well.
He is picking Georgia as his lock as well. So far, the only difference being North Dakota State and Colorado. That's perfectly fine. As we move on down, we're going to take a dip to NBC's first game of the season, and that is going to be Penn State traveling to Morgantown to take on West Virginia. Now, this is not the backyard brawl, because that is West Virginia and Pitt. However, there is a lot of hype going around this game, only because apparently West Virginia is one of the favorites to win the Big 12? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And you know what? Those ideas are getting shut down off the bat. Give me the Nittany Lions in my lock of the week. I don't care what the spread is. West Virginia, there's too much hype going around West Virginia. Granted, I don't know what they picked up in the offseason, but I know they did not finish very well last year. So why is there so much hype around a team that finished so low?
Maybe because the Big 12, in my opinion, really At this point,
wide
doesn't
open.
necessarily. Yeah, it's basically wide open here. But you know what? I'm Penn State at -8. It is almost intriguing because it is in Morgantown, but I'm gonna go
Really
Penn
quick,
State.
I lied. This is not NBC. This is Fox Big Noon Kickoff.
Okay. But yeah, I'm
So
just gonna go with Penn State here just because Penn State is on paper a better team and like Penn State yeah,
you
basically
go.
Penn State on paper is the better team and they are only an 8-point favorite, but West Virginia is one of those teams where I have to kind of see And this is Elijah's upset.
Upset of the week. And I respect that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I said,
I
there is
mean,
a lot of hype around this game. Someone I watched. There's been this guy that's been popping up on my YouTube shorts. He actually thinks this upset is going to happen.
and you know what? I could totally see it because you're going to Morgantown. You're going to West
Yeah.
Virginia, and it's only an 8-point spread. I mean, how many times have we seen that happen? And plus, it's also kind of fun to have differences. So I think this is our second difference.
Oh yeah. And so what
Yeah,
was
like
your
it's
pick again? I don't think I heard it.
Penn State.
You're going
Just
the
because
Nittany Lions as well.
yeah, because I feel like Penn State should win this one,
Yeah.
but it
I
will be
100% agree with
close.
that. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a game. Alrighty. Next up, I don't actually need to know who this is because I actually do know this team a little bit well due to basketball reasons. This is the Chattanooga Kangaroos, I believe is what it is. And
I
they're going to be
couldn't tell.
I don't remember what their team name is, but I know it's Chattanooga. They're going to be traveling to good old Rocky Top. Woo! And they're going to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. I think this one's an easy pick. I think Tennessee's got this one locked up.
Yeah, I'm going to
Pretty
go
easily.
Rocky Top as well.
That's their fight song, in case you're curious. In case if anybody's curious, they're my roommate over here getting the in-person show. You guys are getting the digital show. How about this one? How about this one for a potential upset of the week as well? South Dakota State is traveling down to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, Jake, you don't touch South Dakota State predictions with a 39.5-foot pole. Thank you to the Grinch for that reference. However, do you possibly see this upset happening?
Oh yeah, like I say, as a USD guy who went to the University of South Dakota and seen more than his fair share of SDSU. Sure, I mean SDSU, NDSU, and heck, I'd even argue USD very easily could upset their FBS opponents and stuff like that. I mean, the FCS, like especially the top of the Missouri Valley, I could argue could go toe to toe with a lot of group of 5 teams, if not beat them. I'm not ready to say, Power 4 yet because, obviously SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC are different animals here. But with that said, though,
before you continue your comment, Jake, remember what happened with Oklahoma State last year? You remember who they had a really bad game against?
Who?
South Alabama. They lost, and I shit you not when I say this score, 33-7. So keep that in mind. Now, go ahead.
I still say Oklahoma State just because, in my opinion, Oklahoma State is one of the. If everything goes according to plan, Oklahoma State's going to be one of the teams at the end of the year that will get a run for the Big 12, in my opinion, if everything goes right, just because they were one of the championship teams from last year.
And heck, this is your Big 12 pick this year.
Yeah, so At this point, I got to go with Oklahoma State, especially because I know they have some really solid players, even though it is only a 9.5 point spread. But I would not be shocked if SDSU takes down Oklahoma State, though. I'm just going to put that out. But still, give me Oklahoma State.
I think Mike Gundy is going to have his team ready to go for week 1. However, I don't know how prepared they are with how good South Dakota State is going to be. Yes, I'm picking Oklahoma State. However, Oklahoma State, but they don't cover.
Okay.
Oklahoma. Hey, that's a good predict. That's a good pick. No cover. No cover.
Oh yeah, easily. I'm not. Yeah, like I say, I'm not surprised at that at all. I'm not shocked if that happens at all. But
I think we can breeze through the next 2 as we have the battle, a battle in the state of Ohio. The Akron Zips travel to the Shoe as they take on the OHIO State.
Ohio State. Ohio State.
I don't think we. Yeah, we just do that. And then we traveled back down to Austin as horns down. The Texas Longhorns will play host to Colorado State as their first game as newest members of the SEC.
Yeah, this should be easy, Texas.
As much as I hate the out of Texas, I want to say horns down. Hook 'em horns this week. Give me the Longhorns. Alrighty, this game gonna be fun. An in-state rivalry, folks. We have the Hurricane of Miami traveling to Gainesville to take on the Gators of Florida. What is the spread for this one?
Miami 2.5.
Favorite for 2.5.
So this is going to be a good one. This might be one that I watch as long as it's not on during one of my other
What time is
games,
kickoff? Elijah,
yeah, Elijah, can you look that up?
Can you let us know that, please? Because that might determine my picture.
It's a 2:30.
2:30.
Salmon.
Okay.
Oh. All right.
Okay.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead here? Because I'm kind of thinking.
This is 100% a coin toss for me. Because Miami, again, flashing back to last year, we referenced it earlier in the stream. Miami had somewhat of a way to end their year, especially with that one loss to Georgia Tech where the coach decided, I don't want to kneel the ball down. I want to run up the score. Got the ball stripped. 2 plays later, they're losing on a game-winning touchdown. And then Florida. Florida's interesting because Florida, I remember when Florida used to be the team in the SEC back in the Tim Tebow days.
Mm-hmm.
But they're nowhere near that level anymore. Granted, I don't know who they all have at quarterback and who they have at receivers or backs or anything. But I do know. Hang on, let me see what Elijah's got to say. He doesn't have anything to say about it. Okay. Either way, I think this is going to be a different game. No matter who picks who, someone's going to pick the other team here. So with that said, I'm a Rocky. Ooh, not the selection I want. I'm a Rocky like a Hurricane. I'm rocking with the Hurricanes on this one. I don't know why. It's too close to call for me, but I got to make a pick here.
You know what? I'm also going to go with the Hurricanes.
Ooh, okay.
Just because, like I say, they are the favorite in the spread here. Plus, I don't know how Florida's going to look, and they have a just brutal schedule this year. Like, I think they have the hardest schedule in FBS, if I remember right, by like percentages and win percentages. But With that said, though, I mean, I would not be surprised if the Gators get it done in the Swamp, being that it is a home game and a rival, a pretty big rival at that. I'm going to
Oh yeah.
go the Hurricanes.
Now the other thing that I know, and I don't know if they
Oh,
still do
real
this.
quick here, too. Elijah's picking the Gators, it looks like.
I saw that.
Okay.
They couldn't land loose. They won't land. They couldn't land loose. They won't land the W, Gators. I like that. I like how he puts that. Alrighty. I think we can breeze through these next 3, possibly next 4. Alabama, Western Kentucky. Give me the Tide here.
Yeah, give me the Tide.
Fuck the Tide. Who said that? Casper? Language. Sorry, kids. I think this is Furham? Or Furman? Can someone confirm that?
Furman, yep.
Furman. Okay, Furman, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Yeah. Like I say, when he gave us the quote unquote layups, you got to take them.
Oh yeah, especially. I mean, unless someone wants to be stupid and they actually can call a major upset in week 1. Granted,
it could happen. I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not either. And then Kansas State over UT Martin. Oh, versus UT Martin. I mean.
Yeah.
And then Oregon and Idaho. Yep. This is just
Oregon.
Just keep on moving on here, folks. Nothing to see here with these next ones. Do we do the game of the week now, or do we skip over and come back to it?
Wait.
Okay. All right. Skipping game of the week. We move on. New Mexico, Arizona. I think we can breeze through this one too. Arizona.
I'm gonna go Arizona here too.
Even though, granted, New Mexico put up a hell of a fight over a team that was favored by 13.
True, but like I say, this is
not just create that.
Yeah, no, I know, but like I say, this is also a Big 12 team too now with Arizona. So, but yeah.
Yep. USC LSU. Let's pause. Let's pause for the cause here, because I think we can talk about
because this one's going to be a good
USC. One. Oh yeah, this is be played in Death Valley, or actually, fun fact: Clemson Stadium is Death Valley, and so is LSU's. LSU's actually was originally called Death Valley, as in you cannot hear Valley. But they adopted the death aspect of it because because of all the major upsets that the stadium has had in its lifespan. Granted, LSU won't change their stadium in 20 to 30 years to come, but there's a little history on LSU.
If you read here, Elijah said this is a neutral site in Vegas, and LSU is a 4-point favorite.
Of course, this is a neutral site. Give me USC because of that. Give me USC because of that.
I'm going LSU.
Only reason I'm picking USC is because this is not being played in Baton Rouge. This is in Allegiant Stadium. Now, if it was Baton Rouge, I'd be all in on LSU. But since it's not, it's a 4-point favorite for LSU. I'm going to pick USC in a close one.
And Elijah also went with LSU. Mainly because, like I say, how is life after Caleb Williams going to be for USC? I need to see what USC looks like post Caleb Williams.
I know what? I didn't even think about that. Yep, I'm gonna agree with you guys. Now that I realize that now that they don't have Caleb Williams, so I'm gonna agree with you guys in LSU now. Now I don't know why I completely forgot about that aspect. Alrighty, let's move on down. Coming off week 0's loss in a trophy game, which I was right. The game in Ireland does involve a trophy. It's a very awesome looking trophy. The Boston College Eagles will travel down to Tallahassee to take on the Florida State Seminoles. Give me the Noles. This team is hungry. This team is pissed. They're going to win next week.
Also, give me the Noles, too. Because if they don't win here, they're going to be in trouble.
Elijah, move your picks down one spot, please. That way it lines up. Thank you much. There you go. There you go. Alrighty. Finally, we get to our 5 teams we all cheer for. First up, the only team to be conference champions in the state of Iowa, the Drake Bulldogs. I don't even remember who the hell they play, but they play the Eagles. That I do know. Drake is coming off a very good year. I think they're going to repeat this year. Give me the Bulldogs from Des Moines.
Alrighty. And Elijah said they're the Lehigh Penguins, I believe. But yeah, I'm going to go with Drake as well.
Is it they're the Lehigh Penguins? Oh, no, Lehigh Eagles.
Eagles, okay.
Okay. So you're also going Drake as well?
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, this one, Jake, I'll let you take the lead. This, I don't even know who the heck this is, but this is South Dakota, your alma mater, and they're taking on a Division II team.
Yeah, well, like I say, the University of South Dakota is near and dear to my heart because, again, that's the university I went to, played in the marching band and stuff like that, and they're taking on Northern State, which is a Division II college in Aberdeen, South Dakota. So this should be a USD victory because D2 versus FCS, it's like the equivalent of FCS versus FBS. So obviously, there's different levels. I'm not saying Northern, let's put it this way. If USD doesn't win, we have a lot of issues ahead of us. But yeah, give me USD over Northern State.
All right. How about this one as we remain in the Missouri Valley Conference? The Northern Iowa Panthers get a very, and I emphasize, very rare home game to start their season as they will play host to Valsboro in the Unidome. Give me the Panthers to have a great start to their season. This one's going to be a fun game. But what if there's a line on that one? I'd say
I don't know because
the higher yeah.
Yeah, the problem is unless there's like an FCS betting or something like that where they have the lines for FCS v FCS, it's going to be kind of hard to find them. Because I don't know if ESPN does like FCS versus FCS, but I'm going to go with UNI.
They just don't drop them. They do. They just don't drop them days before. But yeah, UNI. It looks like UNI all across the board. Alrighty, now we get to the 2:30 kickoff between the North Dakota Fighting Hawks and the Iowa State Cyclones. My birthday game, and I think my birthday is going to start off with a bang. Give me the Cyclones in a really very good contested football game.
Yeah, I will agree. Iowa State should win this one, but North Dakota is not a sleeper team either. But yeah, I would say that it is North Dakota.
So wait a minute. Who's your pick?
Iowa State.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute. Did he just pick North Dakota?
Yeah. No. I said, like I say, don't sleep on North Dakota, but I am going with Iowa State, though.
Okay. All right. And now a game that's actually really intriguing considering that this team will not have their head coach this game. It is the Northern Illinois Cardinal. Or is it the
Illinois State. Illinois State.
The Illinois State Redbirds. Is it Redbirds or Cardinals?
I think they're the Redbirds. 1 second.
Elijah will confirm that.
Yep, Redbirds.
Okay, the Illinois State Redbirds, as they will travel to Kinnick Stadium to take on the Hawkeyes.
I still have Iowa as my favorite in this one, even
I do
without
too.
Kirk Ferentz. Just
I
because,
do
like I
too.
say, especially because they're a minus 22.5 point favorites. So
I will also say this game is going to be really interesting without Kirk Ferentz at the helm. And Illinois State is one of the top 25 teams in the FCS level. Same with North Dakota. But yeah, I'm picking Iowa 100%. 100%. But don't count out Illinois State to make this a really interesting game. Am I wrong for saying that?
no, not really. But like I say, it's just gonna be. It's gonna be intriguing for sure. But yeah, like Elijah said, the team is going to be pissed. I low key feel sorry for the other ISU. Which, by the way, I'm making fun if Illinois State ever plays Iowa State. So
who's the better ISU? Let's find out. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Now we're on to our game of the week. We passed over it because passed over. And we're talking about a Catholic school. How freaking fitting. As we have Illinois State versus the Iowa State. Hey, I like that. ISU versus the ISU. I like that. Give the Ohio State vibes with that. But enough joking around, folks. Game of the week. College game day. Where are they going? Well, they're going to a place that has seen a lot of upsets. And one of these teams can pull off the upset the other direction. And I'm talking about
There's a magic in the sound of their name. Here come the Irish of Notre Dame.
it is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as they travel to College Station, Texas to take on
Loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I was born like this, immaculate conception. I was born like this, was out, she wasn't a weapon. I meditate, then on your feet. This that against the bed. This that I got loyalty inside my
The Texas A&M Aggies in prime time. That's right, folks. What a banger of a week one game of the week we have. The Irish and the Aggies and in the home of the 12th man, Kyle Field, Aggie Land. This one's going to be really, really fun to watch. Now, knowing my reputation with picking Notre Dame games a couple of seasons ago, I turned that around. I had a better year picking Notre Dame games. So, with that being said, Jake, do you want to pick game of the week 1 first? Now, don't think too hard.
You know what?
Don't think too hard.
Yeah. Well, no,
Spread
because this
is -3 for A&M. Let's throw that out there first before we get into any farther into this.
honestly, I'm just gonna go with my gut here. Give
By the way,
me,
there's guaranteed a difference here.
give me A&M because it's at home.
Oh,
That's the only real reason why I'm going with A&M is because it's a home game. And this game right here could have implications on the playoffs. And I think A&M
Yes,
could pull the upset here. Well, I guess it wouldn't be an upset here, but... And I can very
A&M
easily see Irish.
A&M overrated AF. Give me the Irish, says Elijah. Okay. I'm going to do my best Lee Corso impression here with this one. Hold on. I'm going to do some minor research here. Well, when I do this real quick. Hold on. Okay. These teams are meeting for the first time since 2001. They've met for the first time in 1988 in Dallas, Texas. A&M took the first one. Notre Dame took the next 3. The next 3 happened in 1993 in Dallas, Texas, 1994 in Dallas, Texas, and 2000 for the first time, the game being in South Bend. This will be the second time in a row that this game will be at College Station. Now, I don't know how you technically clarify what's in a row, but second matchup in a row that these two teams will play in College Station. So you would think that A&M has this game locked. You know what? Give me the Aggies. Nah. I got the Lord on my side. Give me the Irish head. Put on my leprechaun hat. Give me the Irish in this one. Yeah, I had to get the crowd hyped and then rip their hearts out.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Hey, it's not like what Pat McAfee did in the SEC championship game on College Game Day was there. Good Lord, that was brutal. I'm about to edit that. There you go. I love that. All right, guys. So that is it. Week 1 starts tomorrow night. This is your send-off to enjoy your first full weekend, your first full 5 days of college football. Jake and Elijah, I know you are not physically here on the stream, but I know you can hear us in the background. Thank you once again for doing all that you do for the intros, dude. You kill it every single motherfucking time. And I'm excited to see what you're going to cook up for Iowa and Iowa State. As you see, my eyes widened for that one. Actually, let's we'll talk about that privately because I know that because I want to talk about something when it comes to that week. But Jake, also thank you for coming onto camera to do this.
You're welcome.
And guys, like I said, enjoy your week 1 of college football. Until next week, where we hopefully won't have a Thursday game that we have to cram this into our busy schedules. We will see you next week for week 2, otherwise known here in the state of Iowa as Cyhawk Week. Have a great day. Enjoy your week of football.